Alright guys, good evening. This is Viking Creative Studios. I'm going for a little night ride, and in this episode we're gonna swing by a casino, so stay tuned. So, I don't know if you guys noticed anything different, but there's no shield. We took the shield off. So this is my first night testing this out for this kind of camera setup with no shield on. Pretty excited. Today was exceptionally hot. It was in the high 80s. So it's definitely cooled down since then, but it's still pretty warm. So we're trending right now at about a 70 degrees now. 70 degrees with no sun is kind of cool, a little bit cool, but it's not too bad. It's actually really comfortable to ride in. I don't have any gloves on tonight. I usually try to wear gloves, but with testing out the different camera setups, it's sometimes hard to tell if you hit the button right. So I figured it would just be a little easier tonight anyway. I'm just doing some safe back roads to test this out without gloves. So I really want to see on how this looks, because the problem I was having with the shield isn't really so much the shield. I mean, I think the shield is kind of ugly. It's just a standard shield, but the problem is it has this little leather bag on the front here, and what it does is it blocks like the front bracket. There's like a chrome bracket that it's kind of hiding from my view as a rider. And it's at like the exact height the camera's at. So before, you guys could kind of see what was in front of me, but kind of not. So it had its ups and downs. So the fact that I could take it off now should mean you guys have a hell of a lot better setup. Now, the low light setup I'm doing here obviously is a custom one. Kind of get into a little bit more specifics on another video with that, but one thing I do have to play around with this is the focus is 100% manual focus. So every time I go riding, that's something that I need to kind of like just kind of double check and make sure that I'm getting the environment in focus, because it's using a much faster aperture than like a GoPro, where a GoPro's kind of like has everything sort of in focus. This is kind of selective, so the handlebars and stuff like that might look blurry, and it's just out of focus for that, and focus more on what I'm riding at. So like the trees and leaves and buildings and things of that nature. But yeah, so definitely interesting. It's nice that the warm weather's kind of rolling up. We kind of confirmed some more information about our trip to New Hampshire soon, so I'm pretty amped about that. So we're going to do that in June, so it should be beautiful up in the mountains. Although I will say it does get cool there as well in the summer, at night anyway, not so much during the day, but at night. So yeah, but I'm pretty fucking amped to go do that, so should be fun. Yeah, tomorrow we've got some cool stuff going on too. So today we did take the bikes out as well, and put some miles on the bikes, because we went and did like a photo shoot, which was pretty interesting. So there'd be a separate vlog, I think, of some of the day anyway. I think that vlog is going to carry on for the rest of the weekend, but got a couple really busy days coming up. We are going tomorrow morning to actually do a charity run on the bikes. So first thing is, I'm gonna go drop my son off at my mother's and let her watch him for the weekend, because after we're done that bike run, we're going to this place called the Island, which is awesome. I can't wait to get a video of that. It's kind of like this little like tiki, kind of like a tiki bar type place. It's really, really cool. So we're going to do that tomorrow morning after I drop him off. I think we're doing like a 50 or 60 mile ride. It's not excruciatingly long or anything like that. It's just for charity, so that'll be cool. I really have no idea how many tickets sold for it, so I mean, we could be walking into a giant line, or it could be like 10 of us. I really have no idea. Besides that, after that's done, we need to go home, actually put the bikes away, and we're going to be driving up to a hotel. So we rented 2 different hotel rooms over this weekend, and we'll be staying there until midway next week. The hotel room is split up because we couldn't get we rented out a presidential suite for doing some photo shoots, so we have a bunch of clients coming to that. And then tomorrow night when we get there, that room, we thought we booked it for an extra day, was actually not available for the first night we planned on being there. So I was like, kind of like, shit. So we had to book another room. So basically what we do is we'll do the bike run tomorrow, then go check in, get all our stuff kind of like situated, and then the second day we switch over to the presidential suite of the hotel, and that's when we have all our clients coming. So that's gonna be awesome. Pretty excited about that. I think that's gonna be dope. After that's done, I think we're gonna stay another night for me and Metal Kitten to shoot. So we're gonna, you know, do dinner, and I think they have a hot tub. I don't know if there's a pool there or not, but we're gonna do the pool and / hot tub depending on what's available. Then Tuesday we come back, we pick up my son. I've got a couple appointments that day I gotta go do, so I can't really take my GoPro for those type of appointments, but I will be you know, taking my camera throughout the day to vlog through all of this, really. Then Tuesday evening I might actually have an unboxing video. Got a really cool new piece of gear that's supposed to be coming in. So once my appointments are done, I pretty much have to sit at home and not move because I have to watch for the upstruck. gotta get that signature, you know. So this new piece of gear, I'll obviously do like an unboxing and go over why I bought it and that kind of stuff like that. It's photography related, but it will also be used for like this motovlog stuff, which is pretty dope. So that's pretty exciting. So we've got a really busy week. Luckily Caitlin doesn't have any classes that she needs to teach next week, so she usually does like painting classes at different locations, and she doesn't have any of that next week, so that's kind of nice. So after we get through like the next like 4 or 5 days of just crazy hustle and bustle, it will chill out, which will be nice. So that'll be cool. Tonight, I mentioned in the beginning of this video, we're headed to a casino. So we're not going to go in the casino, but I did want to show you guys kind of my hometown, like where I grew up. So we're taking the back roads here, and going to check out where I grew up, North Providence. And just outside of North Providence is Lincoln, Rhode Island. And in Lincoln, Rhode Island, they have this casino that's been known by many different names. It's been bought and sold a bunch of times over the years. For most of my life, it's been known as Twin River, but it just recently got bought again, I believe, and I think it's now known as Bally's Twin River. Like Bally's, like the gym. So I think that's what they call it now. I could be wrong. It's had like a bunch of different names. It's been known as like Lincoln Downs, Lincoln Greyhound Park. It's had all these different names. But in the last couple of years, they actually kind of made it a pretty big casino where they have a hotel now with it, so you can actually stay over. When I was growing up, all they had was like slot machines and stuff. But they actually have like card tables, and it's got a lot of cool restaurants and stuff. So it's definitely really cool. I have 100% tried to vlog in there before with like a professional camera, and security did not like that. They actually came over and like were like, if you don't leave, we're gonna take your camera. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? But it is what it is. And it's kind of weird, is because everybody takes pictures anyway with their phones, and phones are kind of like, I don't want to say they're as good, but in terms of you're doing something you weren't supposed to, they're way more discreet than a big camera. So it is what it is. So it's a Friday night, so I figured, hey, why not? Let's go swing by. I'll see how busy it is there. I haven't been there in a long time. It is something I would like to stay there. It's kind of like an overnight trip one day, since it's not really that far. It's like a 10-mile ride from where I'm living now, so it's not too bad. I have like my apartment, and my family owns the house I'm in now, which is kind of cool. But there's a little biker. So I kind of have like a lot of space and a lot of workspace, and get to do pretty much whatever I want, which is awesome. But it's not, it's in like a neighborhood, and we do have like a really nice park next to us and stuff, but like I want to be like in the middle of nowhere. I want to be in the woods. I want to be in like a really rural area where it's just more private and peaceful. You know, you don't have cars and traffic, and you know, like we have this neighbor that's just absolutely crazy, which I'll have to do an entire episode on this poor guy. But he is a fucking huge douchebag, and it's caused a lot of grief for us. So in fact, I was working on this bike, getting some parts painted, and he's out there with the leaf blower blowing stuff while my paint's drying on purpose, like literally just to ruin it, like he was being a dick. But it is what it is. No big deal. No big deal. So that'll be a whole episode for sure. But yeah, it's a Friday night. It's pretty early still. It's like a little after 9. But typically in the area where I'm going, you do want to be really vigilant as far as riding a bike, just because it's a Friday night and there is a hell of a lot of drunk people that come out of that casino after losing all their money and just don't give a fuck, and they're probably texting their wife or their girlfriend, I'm so sorry honey, I lost the savings account, and they're not paying attention to the driving, and you don't want to get hit. So I am definitely a little bit more vigilant in this area, especially because these roads are I don't want to say too winding, but like they're deceptively winding. Like they're mostly straight, but then all of a sudden there'll be like a couple quick curves, and it's like, oh, if I was looking down for a second, that could have been bad. So definitely got to pay attention. But you could take the highway too from my house, which was easy. But while I test out obviously like the moto setup and like that, you know, I don't know how I feel about the highway with it quite yet. I want to get everything dialed in exact, and then I don't mind riding the highway. Like I could very easily try to ride it coming back, but going there to do this narration with the audio and everything, like my bike is just obnoxiously loud. Up until like a couple weeks ago, it was basically straight pipes, no baffles, nothing. I had Cobra exhaust slip-ons on this bike, and it had these like baffles that were just built in. They were basically tap welded in, so in order to get them out, you had to basically break them out. Like they were in, and they were in really good. Couldn't just cut the little tack weld, like there was all internal and shit. So we used like a this big like beam thing with like a big ass pry bar, and we ended up busting them out a couple of years ago. And I mean, I like it because people know I'm around. You know, it kind of makes them pay attention that there's a motorcycle local. But the problem is after like a while, like when you ride up to New Hampshire for 4 or 5 hours, it's just your ears are like ringing, and I know it's going to cause like damage over time. And you know, nobody wants to ride with you when you have a stupid loud bike like that, as it is. Bally's Twin River Lincoln, yeah, that's the name, I guess. Hey, another biker. So yeah, it was time to kind of quiet it down. So we actually made a new slip-on because I lost one. One of the bolts wiggled loose and the safety clip wiggled loose and shot off one day and fell down into like a ditch, and I never got it back. So we made a new slip-on that matches the other one, fabricated it, and then we fabricated 2 baffles for the exhaust to kind of dull it down a little bit. It's still stupid loud, but it's definitely better than how it was. So yeah, hopefully the camera angle looks good. I think it's not going to look worse. It's got to look better. That's just my guess here. So here's to hoping. We're only a few minutes away from this casino. So what I plan on doing is I plan on doing a loop through the parking lot so you guys can check it out, see how the lighting is with this camera and all that stuff with that. Once I'm done that, I might just jump back on the highway and head home and see how the visuals look for this, but it'd be pretty cool. Metal Kitten did, like I said, she did a photo shoot today. It's pretty not safe for YouTube, and she's got that spicy link that she runs, and she does really well, and she's actually a professional dominatrix too. So she has like submissives, and she does a whole bunch of businesses, and she's an artist and a teacher and just all around an amazing person. So if you're into that and you do want to see how that was, it's involving motorcycles, you're going to want to go to the link down in the description and show some support, I guess. She killed it today, so it was really cool. It was definitely fun. Yeah, it's been dope. I've been doing, obviously, editing a lot more motorcycle stuff. Like I plan on doing this year, a lot of that with the channel. And I've been going back, looking at like old footage and stuff, and just being like, you know, man, like we've had so many good times. I had a falling out with one of my really good friends. It was the second really huge falling out that we've had. And the first one was actually really serious. You know, some time went by. It was like a year and a half later. We kind of like mended a little bit. There was a lot of growing, I think, on both of our parts, and a lot of miscommunication, and some really dark shit happened. And you know, I pretty much gave him a second chance, and he ended up burning me again. Like, not like, actually it's been a little bit. It's been a year now. But he was one of my buddies he used to ride with a lot. So you know, I was there when he bought his first bike, when he first learned to ride his second bike. So the fact that happened twice just really kind of hurt. And going back and looking at like a lot of this footage, like he's in a lot of it, and you know, like some of the things they said when we had the last falling out, I really don't even want to use the footage. But you know, you might see some stuff on there, but you know, it's been cool. I've been going through, like, I have a lot of other memories on the bike and riding, and a lot of people I've ridden with. But you'll see me give credits to all the different riders if they have channels or any kind of social media at all or anything like that. You'll always see me give credit, except probably in this one case. You might see somebody riding with me here and there that you won't really get a mention of, or you'll hear anything and like a montage, and it's really because, you know, I just do not want to give him any of that credit. So it is what it is. I actually got a bike behind me, little buddy. It's got a halogen light, man. Gotta get some day makers. So there's a light over here, or there used to be. There it is, and we can pull in to the lot right here. Cool. like my old stomping grounds. It's so weird. I grew up right down the street, so like we used to come by this place all the time. And then when I turned 18, I could go into a casino. My grandmother took me. She used to be like a really like lucky gambler. She didn't gamble very much, but it's not gambling if you always win, I guess. And she used to win all the time on the slots. So yeah, I mean, probably on the camera, I got my helmet. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna jump back on the bike, literally let this thing run just so I can see how the quality is really. I'm very, very curious on this. Used to have a friend that worked over there back when they had dog racing and they had dogs and the animal pens were over there and stuff. I guess there's a lot of people here actually. On this side, on the other side it was like empty. This side's pretty busy. And you can see people whip around out here. They don't care. Alright, good old-fashioned rotary that no one over here knows how to drive. Doesn't help that there's a rotary next to a casino. Oh, I smell somebody hitting the ganja. And we're back to where we were a moment ago. So yeah, that's like the loop around the parking lot. I mean, like I said, one day I'll sneak in the GoPro. I don't care. Or I'll just use my phone. But yeah, we're going to jump back on the highway here. If I deem the audio really, really bad, I'm probably just going to like check in with you guys later. Probably when I get back close to home, because I'm going to jump on the highway here and try an audio test and a video test and all that fun stuff. But I have not tested this rig yet on the highway. I did replace my little buffer tube for this custom mount I made. Basically it's a pool noodle. I got a pool noodle from like Job Lot, and basically I cut it into different lengths depending on how much buffer I need. It just gives it like a little bit of a kind of like a vibration isolator for up and down motion. So if you watch the video where I take a night ride to the Conjuring house, you'll see at one point it goes flying, and the camera's definitely not as stable afterward. So it's kind of like the pros and the cons of this DIY stuff. When you do it yourself, you can replace it, but it also might not be as reliable as a professional level gear. But here we go. I'm gonna gun in on the highway here and we'll see how this sounds. Miles an hour with wind. I'm pretty sure this is not going to be very usable, but we're going to find out. It's either going to sound amazing or it's going to sound really, really bad. And there's a lot of wind hitting my face, so I'm going to go with it's probably going to sound pretty bad. But if you're hearing me, it's because the audio actually worked. But if not, then what's going to happen is I'm going to cut to audio when I get off the highway in about 2 minutes. Rhode Island with the dark highways, no lights. Luckily, I got the low light rig, so it's okay, you can still see. Not gonna lie, if this audio sounds even vaguely usable, I'm gonna be pretty excited, because like I said, odds are it sounds like shit. What does Shade Tree Surgeon say? Ramming speed? Ramming speed indeed. If you guys can hear me, this might be a good way to show you between the two footages, the GoPro versus the Sony as well, for quality here. Being at night, different ambient stuff going on. I think it would be very interesting to see. So, definitely try this after. Music playing or something from Epidemic Sound. Not sponsored, but I do use Epidemic Sound for my music now. Back when I started using them, they kind of didn't have a great library. It was very limited, but now they actually have quite a bit to choose from that works well. GoPro is still blinking. Well, the drive-in's got a line. That's always good. This drive-in is known as the Rustic Drive-In. And way back in the day, they showed adult films, which is very odd to me. It's very odd that a drive-in would show adult content. And you could go and watch porn at the drive-in. It's very interesting. Double trailer. So hopefully now, I mean, I'm only going 35. Hopefully you guys can hear me now. Like I said, I have no idea if you guys heard anything I said while I was riding on the highway. And if you did, awesome. And if you did not, then, well, I hope you enjoyed the tunes. Slide on over. Thank you. I need to wash my mirrors so bad. They're all dirty. I also had a minor whoopsie with my GoPro. yesterday on the bike. I was getting this really low angle, and I put it on a magic arm, and I had it like hovering just on the ground, and I was only down the street from my house. And in my head I'm going, okay, it's a left-hand turn, left-hand turn, left-hand turn, perfect. So it's not like I'm going to take a right where it's going to lean the bike to the right and lower the camera anymore. So I'm like, if I'm only taking lefts, when I take that turn, it should lift up. So I'm like, you know, I've only got an inch off the ground, but I should be good. And yeah, it was only lefts, except for this. I didn't realize this one little spot in my house that is it's kind of like it's not really a turn, but it's like a little swoop in the road to go kind of to the right. And yeah, I took that little swoop, and I heard a grind with the swoop, and I looked down, and my GoPro's like not happy with me, and it kind of like bumped up and was scraping. And I usually have a case on the camera, and I did not. So the top of my GoPro has a scrape mark, but the lens cover, the very top of the cover where the plastic part is, got kind of a scrape, but the actual cover itself and everything else, screens, all my screens, everything, all the buttons, everything is fine, and it works fine. I did put it under the sink and ran some water to see if it's still waterproof. It seemed to be no problem. Really submitting it in a cup is my only other thing, but I wanted to get this video done first. But gotta try it. I also put air in the tires today too. I was my back tire is supposed to be at 36 psi when I have passengers that are going on the back, which, you know, from time to time, Caitlin will get on the back, or Logan, or, you know, like someone needs a ride, or when we go up to the mountains next month, like usually people take turns going, so everyone gets like a turn on the kank kind of thing. So, you know, I took it to the machine and tried to check my air, and I thought maybe I was at like 30 because I was feeling a little soft. No, it was at like 24. So I refilled that, which was nice. And then my front tire was a little low as well, not as low, but I fixed that. So now the turning on this has been substantially better. And the only other maintenance thing I should probably have to do before New Hampshire is maybe an oil change, which will probably happen too. But other than that, everything has been good. So the guy that had this bike before me didn't have a lot of miles on it. He was in some sort of a construction accident and wasn't able to ride anymore, not because of the bike, but if he got into some sort of a minor accident and went down, he could die because he had like neck surgery or whatever. So he sold the bike, and it's been pretty nice. It was in pretty good condition for the most part. Needed some love. I changed the color and all that other stuff on the bike and swapped out some stuff, but overall it's been a pretty good bike. Usually once a year I do put new grips on the bike. I don't really get expensive ones. Spend like 50 bucks on them, and I give myself kind of like a new grips every year. So one of the things I do. Woo, I'm gonna go straight here. So that I haven't done this year either, but it's all good. It's all good. Well, well, hope you guys enjoyed this ride. It's very warm, like I said. I am coming to an end on these like somewhat test rides, and they'll be a little bit more serious going forward. This is, like I said, was the first ride without the shield, so I want to see angle. I've got a solution. If the angle's still too low, I can easily adjust it now. So I can tweak the height of the camera on the rig to get it up a little bit if I need to. That's one thing. The other thing is, the other thing I want to do is I want to also check for, like, you know, like the typical bugs. Obviously, if you ever seen a windscreen, they eat a ton of bugs off the top of it. So I need to check the lens and check my time code on how long this ride was and like all that, and if it all, you know, went well, like, you know, how often am I gonna have to do a maintenance clean, basically. You just bring a cloth, and every time I need to you know, do like a maintenance clean, I can grab the microfiber and clean the lens, and kind of like a fresh start, that kind of thing, because nobody wants to do a 2-hour ride with a bug in the upper corner, you know, or right in the middle of the screen or something. But alright guys, I hope you have yourself a great evening. I'm gonna wrap it up here, and yeah, tomorrow we got the bike run, so that'll be an interesting video, and I'll see you guys then. Peace.